1995 opened on a chilly day in Auburn, Opelika, Alabama. And a hot shooting young man from Daleville, Alabama, made a quick impression. Brian Gay, who played collegiately at the University of Florida, found Auburn Lakes to his liking. And with guys like Ricky Smallridge and Jack O'Keefe in hot pursuit, Brian will still capture the first one.
And about young Mr. O'Keefe, he kept the hot pursuit going in a wet one at Douglas, Georgia. Jack, who will become Arkansas's second big contribution to the world at large, picked on the Big Nine, 15 under par, while shooting 2 under on the front to get his first win on the Hooters Tour at the Golden Corral Classic.
David Bishop, the little guy with a gambler's heart and a burglar's guts, jumped into a four-way playoff at Columbia in the Rich Tex Brick Classic with Trev Anderson, Tom Shaw, and Ray France snipping at his heels. Bishop shoved home an 18-footer and left the tournament $15,000 richer.
Now on to the first of 2 stops at our home base at Whitewater Country Club in Hotlanta. Make that Fayetteville to be exact, and make that Peachtree City resident Dave Schreier to be perfect. Again, with Ricky Smallridge forcing the issue right to his final putt. Schreier showed he's ready to be a force all during the year with his victory at the Jackaroo Barbecue Sauce Australian Style Open. Now, that's a mouthful, And it sure tastes good. Right, David?
And now it's out to the Bayou Country. And while Andrew Morris of Needham, Mass. does not quite understand everything they say in Louisiana, maybe they talk funny, and to them so does he with his Massachusetts twang. The Morehouse Country Club, though, is something Andrew understood perfectly. Andy wins, and this is going to launch another great season for him. Make that Morse in the first of 3 in the Coca-Cola Classic Series.
The next week is just a few good 3-irons up the road to Frenchman's Bend. The weatherman dumps water and fear into our laps. Becky Calvert, Lee Moore, and Shelley Foster won't soon forget the small tornado that made them prisoners in the command center. Between the raindrops, Brad Ott overcame that guy Smallridge again to take the Coca-Cola Classic Series.
We've got Natchez, Mississippi next in our sights for the 4th straight year. Bellwood Country Club's going to host the 3rd part of the Coca-Cola Classic Series. And Craig Perks is going to be there, and it's going to be his name on the check come Sunday. Perksy and Dennis Zincon made a red-hot duel fun, and at the end, Perks is the only one still standing at the altar. Beautiful old Natchez brings great memories, and again, Craig Perks, the winner.
The Hooters Classic at Rockwall, Texas takes us to the Dallas area. The Big D has plenty of rain, and the Shores Country Club is a fine test. Mike Small from Danville, Illinois, will find a way to get the best of Rick Kramer in a 1-hole playoff. This is a wet one. In fact, it's the only time we'll see fish live on the golf course. One reminder from Mike Small, even though he's from farm country, he's not a farm boy.
From Texas to New Mexico, Albuquerque to be exact, and Todd Gleaton of Fayetteville, North Carolina is in rare form. Gleaton and Mike Swartz are going to hook up in an Old West gun battle, and Gleaton makes the final turn of the day with fire in his eyes. That is fire in your eyes, right, Todd? He's the winner of the Hooters Classic, and he's a happy fella.
A couple of weeks off, Cliff will catch his breath, and the tour heads for horse country in Louisville, Kentucky. The Collins Pro Classic at Venerable Seneca Golf Course. The weather feels good, and so does Spike McRoy. The Huntsville native starts the final round with not 1, but 2 bogeys. Spike likes to do things the hard way, but he's tough today, and this one belongs to the kid. And in the process, he sets a new tournament record, the old one set by Gary Player in 1958.
Live television and another milestone on the Hooters Tour at Chattanooga, Tennessee, the state known for whiskey, great music, and Mike McNeil are going to provide the setting for a couple of young budding superstars to get it on. Jack O'Keefe and Michael Christie take it to the 18th hole in the Chattanooga-Hamilton County Classic, and O'Keefe blinks first. Christie takes the $15,000 check. A couple of weeks later, and Christie's going to win another on the Nike Tour this time, giving him an exemption to the Nike.
Fayetteville, Arkansas is a full day's drive from Chattanooga, and it's worth it. Lost Springs Country Club provides the backdrop, and Andrew Morse takes his New England accent right back into the Ozarks to get victory number 2 on the year. Andy has to outlast Stephen Larrick for this one. Again, a great week and the beginning of a solid relationship with the folks in Northwest Arkansas at the Lindsay and Associates National Home Sunshine Classic.
The cars, vans, trucks, and utility sports vehicles now form a line for Rantoul, Illinois, and Willow Pond Golf Course. The Midwest Invasion finds some hot weather and some rain, and a guy named O'Keefe, again in rare form. Jack gets his second win of the season at the Coca-Cola Classic, and he's all smiles as he gets a check and the trophy. This completes our second trip to the old Air Force Base, once known as Chanute Field.
Year 5 for Lane Vance and the folks at El Paso Country Club. This one is known affectionately as the Great Family Reunion, also known as the Bud Light Classic. It's the home of good food and fat-free cinnamon rolls with plenty of icing. And speaking of icing on the cake, Brian Gorman got the first place check, the traditional cake, and the trophy. Brian tackled the golf course, and he had to hold off Steve Ford to do it.
The Decatur Daily Hooters Tour Championship is always a week to remember. This one is big league in every way. Don Kincaid is the master host here, and Point Mallard is ready, and so is an overflow crowd of Hooters pros. The Slugfest goes for 72 holes, and when the dust had settled, a young Virginian by the name of Jerry Wood is going to slip out of town with the biggest check of the year, $25,000, and things just get better and better in Decatur. Another super week.
Bowling Green, Kentucky, and the Heartland Municipal Golf Course will host the Hooters Tour for the 5th time, tying El Paso, Illinois as the place we've been most. Heartland just gets better and better, and the hospitality here is second to none. Kirby Ramsey and Stan England join Bob and Karen Jeffers to make this a great week for the players, and the player who will like the Bud Light Classic the most is future father Steve Ford. A great week for Steve, and he'll take home the $15,000 check.
Have you heard the name Fayetteville before? Well, have you been listening and following the Hooters Tour? You've heard it 3 times. Fayetteville, Georgia, Fayetteville, Arkansas, and now to Todd Gleaton's hometown, Fayetteville, North Carolina. But Todd will join the rest of us in congratulating a fine young professional from New York, Tim Straub, as he collects his first win of the year in a battle of nerves at the Sophie Classic at the Gatesford Country Club.
When the fog clears in Portsmouth, it's time to play golf in the fine old Donald Ross Design Elks Country Club course. The battles go on, the numbers are impressive, and Rob Bolt, back from a stint on the PGA Tour, goes deep at the Pepsi Open. 26 under par is the best of the week, and Rob has the title and the trophy to prove he was the best the week of August 14th through the 20th.
Hamilton, Ohio, and another Donald Ross Design and another Elks Country Club course. The Pepsi-Cola WMOH Open is played in hot weather, and no one is hotter than a young man from Arizona. His name is Kyle Flinton. Flinton gets early week advice from the holder of the course record, Joe Miller Jr., and he puts it to good use as he chalks up his first win ever. It's a big week for Kyle, and for him it provides confidence. He's certainly got the game.
Myrtle Beach, South Carolina is America's golf playground, and if there is a golfer's heaven, this is it. And the very beginnings of golf at Myrtle Beach occurred at Pine Lakes International, the granddaddy, and the Hooters Tour, A Marriage is Made. The game is on, and the battles take form. The Prime Network telecast shows the country wonderful pictures And for Brett Quigley, the pictures are perfect, and so is his golf game. Quigley gets a chase from, among others, Rob McKelvey, who closed with a 62. But not enough. Brett is the winner of the BB&T Grandy Classic.
Down in Jacksonville, Florida, Green Cove Springs, if you will, it's our third trip to the Magnolia Point Golf and Country Club. This Mark McCumber layout is a great test of golf, and a young man with a big future in professional golf is going to make an impact. He's going to close fast to pull away with the win, and you'll want to mark down the name of Chris Stutz. This 22-year-old has nerves of steel, and he'll just get better and better. And this week, he was the best of the bunch.
With a great assist from Hooters pro Dennis Zinkon and host pro Rick Quinns, can-do attitudes, we will get to play a brand new layout, Ridgewood Lakes. Ridgewood Lakes features lots of water in marshy areas. It's a course worthy of praise, and it comes down to a playoff. 3 waves. Steve Ford gets there via timely birdies at 16 and 17. Rick Gare gets there with a final round 67, and Gary Emmons arriving after chipping in for an eagle on the final hole. Ford gets his second win by outlasting the other 2 guys in 5 extra holes. Ford, your winner at the Ridgewood Lakes Homes Classic.
Turning north and heading for the 23rd tournament of the year, the stop in Gainesville, Florida, and the Heritage Links Country Club marks our 4th time here. O'Keefe and Schwartz would like nothing better than to make a big statement about the Naturally Fresh Points Championship. Mike's going to make the bigger statement this week, gaining 80 points, but Jack leads by 107 heading to Atlanta. This week, though, is going to belong to Craig Bowden of Bedford, Indiana. Bowden and Tom Gillis are going to a playoff at the Farm Bureau Classic after Bowden ties it at the 71st hole. Bowden, at the first playoff hole, is going to use a brilliant approach shot to nail down his win, his first of the season, his 3rd overall on the tour. And here's the shot that's going to put Craig Bowden into the championship seat at the Farm Bureau Classic.